Welcome to Mastering Your Credit Score. My name is Cameron Ripley. I am the broker owner of Purpose Home Lending, NMLS 2613494, always and forever an equal housing opportunity lender. But today we're here really to talk about how to start, establish, whatever you may want to call it, fix, repair, and really use your credit score to the best you can. The benefit of having a good credit score is to tell either a creditor or someone who's going to provide you some type of a service that you're capable and responsible enough to pay for that service or to pay back that debt or to use some type of a product, property, whatever it might be, in the form of paying for it. So what do I mean by that? Anyone who's issuing you anything, whether that's a credit card or auto insurance, a house for lease, a property for lease, some type of business equipment, they want to know, hey, is this person going to be responsible enough to pay me back for this? And how do I determine that? Well, that's where the credit bureaus came and they designed the game around a credit score to help investors, help business owners, help whoever it is to play this game of risk tolerance. So a lot of times we get these consumers who come to us and say, well, I just don't believe in debt and I don't believe in having debt. And that's completely fine. You don't necessarily need to, but that doesn't mean you have to have an absolutely terrible credit score just because you don't believe in debt. Let's say you want to go and you want to lease a car, you don't want to get into debt. Let's say you want to get an apartment complex, rent out an apartment complex. There's so many things that are now looking at your credit score because it's a good indicator and it's a good way for businesses really, or anyone, to mitigate their risk from fraud, first of all, of course, but also people who are going to use a service or product without ultimately paying for it. Let's take car insurance. You get car insurance for your car. You have amazing credit or you have no credit and you end up stop making payments, but you ended up getting into a car accident and now they have to pay out someone who stopped making payments before they had a chance to delete the policy. Once again, it's just a way for them to mitigate their risk. There are a lot of benefits you can get with a really good credit score that we're going to dive into, regardless of whether you want to have a lot of debt or not. I know people with zero debt who capitalize so much on the benefit of credit cards, and I'm going to really talk about that later in this presentation. But establishing credit is so important, and it's something that I was never taught as a kid, and it's probably one of the number one questions, that and taxes, that I get from high school students whenever we have some consultations with them. One of the first real steps in the timeline in order to establish credit. Now, if you're someone who needs to rebuild your credit or you were the victim of identity theft, maybe you had a lot of delinquent accounts, things went into collections, you had some back owed debts that you've recently paid off, and you're trying to figure out how to fix that, please reach out to us. We do have some documents that we can provide you. We don't make any warranties or guarantees that if you follow the steps in those documents, you can fix your credit. However, we've had many people follow these steps because they're steps that are provided and usually information provided from the credit bureaus on how to fix this kind of stuff. So this is really designed, this slide here, for those of you who have never had debt and you are trying to establish that, whether you're a high school student, an early college student, or even just an adult who thought, I never want to get into debt, but now you're realizing in order to buy a house, in order to do a lot of things, you need to have credit. So how do I establish credit without having debt? First of all, of course, you want to open up a bank account. Well, I always open on online banking as well. People believe that the majority of fraud comes from online banking. That's not necessarily true. The majority of fraud comes because you let your email get compromised and you open bad emails, right? So I would have one email that's dedicated. If you have an email that's more of a junk email where you sign up for anything and everything, go for it. But then have an email that is designed, it could be the same thing. So if I have, camripley@gmail.com, that's my spam email. Well, I've got one that's more professional, or for my more professional accounts, such as a bank account, savings account, camripley92@gmail.com. Me telling everyone those emails doesn't do anything. It's me opening phishing emails, is what they're called, and clicking links because I think I'm, getting audited by the IRS, whatever it might be, and now someone has all of my login information. They're not going to go and harass my family. What they're going to do is they're going to wait until they figure out what bank I bank with, and they're going to go in there and they're going to click that button, forgot password, forgot username, and they're going to get into your account. That's how you get hacked, not because you just have some online bank account. Most banks have everything online anyway. So I'm not trying to call anyone naive. It's just that's probably the wrong approach and wrong mentality to take if you're trying to take a secured approach to banking. So first, open a bank account. Does it have to be a savings account? Not necessarily, in my personal opinion, but really that's just my personal opinion. I don't think it's more safe or not. Next is usually you want to apply for a secured credit card. What is secured? That means if I have $500, I can go and get a secured credit card with a limit of $500. So I give them $500 because that becomes collateral. If I can't make payments, they already have that money. So it's an instant approval. But now I am showing that I have a credit limit. What do I do with that credit limit that I have personally pretty much given myself? Now, of course, there are fees and some issues with secured credit cards, but that is generally a good spot. If you know for sure, I've never had a credit card, I've never had a car loan. Some people will go get a car loan. Personally, I think you should always get a secured credit card. Wait a month. So if you have a child, I would add them to one of your credit cards as long as you don't max it out. So that's become an authorized user if you have good credit. Otherwise, I would go and take some money and get them a secured credit card, wait a month, then have them go get an auto loan because they're going to get much better financing. If you are an adult or a parent, or if you know some adult or one of your parents that is really good with their credit, that is the key, really good with their credit, doesn't max out their credit cards, have them add you as a co-authorized user. I know people who do this. They're supposed to get a credit card from parent John Smith to son Tom Smith, but parent John Smith does not give that son Tom Smith his unlimited credit card. He just holds on to it, but at least it starts to reflect some credit. Now, I never did this, and I never had this as an option, which isn't a bad thing. And so if you don't have parents, or if you don't have someone that can help you, don't think, oh shoot, I can't achieve what others can. That's not true. Go get a secured credit card. I'm sure you can make it a goal, and I do have tools coming up where you could save enough if you don't have $500 to put into a credit card. And then the biggest thing I would say for anyone is monitor your credit. I'm going to show you one of our tools, and obviously this presentation isn't just designed to show you a tool. We actually paid for this tool specifically because we had so many people who just don't understand credit and don't have a way to freely monitor it without getting harassed from Credit Karma or other bank accounts or whatever it might be, and they're unsure what information is true or not true out there. So find a way to monitor your credit. If you have online banking, most banks have that as an option. It's not always super accurate, and sometimes they do just use that as an opportunity to solicit you. It's totally up to you how you choose to do it. We have a tool called KeySteps that gives you suggestions on how to improve it, or just improve the score or keep the score where it's at, and that's what you're really looking for. Those who monitor their credit, statistically, and from my own experience as well, tend to have much better credit because, like I said before, credit score is it's kind of like a game, and once you think of it that way, you start to realize how you can play the game to best beat it. This should be an obvious, but obviously you want to pay bills timely. So you don't want to have a credit card and never use it, because what that tells the credit bureaus is, or anyone, is I don't trust myself with this credit card. One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people do, and sometimes there is somewhat of a case for it, just I would consult with someone, possibly like us, just on what you may want to do, or even just talking to the credit bureaus about this. But if you're married and you have a joint credit card, which I don't recommend doing personally, and you get divorced, which is why I don't recommend it, and you decide to cancel your credit card, what you're telling the bureaus is, I don't trust myself with this debt according to the games of their rules, right? Obviously that's not the case because you just don't want to have a joint credit card with your ex, right? That should make sense. But that's what a lot of people will do, or a lot of people max out their credit card one time, they get some hefty interest payments and they freak out, they work really hard, they pay it off, and then they cancel their credit card, which once again, it just tells the credit bureaus, I don't trust myself. The same thing is true if I get a credit card and I never ever use it, I'm telling the credit bureaus, I don't trust myself. Well, we can flip that thought process around of not trusting yourself and instead give you a credit card balance of $15,000, let's say. Wow, that's a lot of money for someone who maybe only makes $3,000 to $4,000 a month. But if I only add coffee and gas, and as soon as that money hits my account, I pay it off so I never have interest, that shows the credit bureaus, wow, this person has the ability and the option to totally max this out beyond their means, but they're choosing not to, which is showing us self-control and responsibility. So therefore, let's give them a higher score. If I have multiple lines of credit, an auto loan, student loans, which I don't recommend getting, but a mortgage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 credit cards. I told someone I've got like 6 or 7 credit cards and they thought I was stupid until they find out that I have good credit and then I don't max out all my credit cards. So the same can be true of you, is that I'm showing and proving that I am responsible. There's reasons why I have that many credit cards, which is why you should be maxing out your credit score once you have an amazing credit score, but we're going to get into that. So of course, pay timely. So if you end up having a minimum payment, that's okay. Sometimes people just need to put a little balance on there, whether it's $10, $20, and get hit, have a payment, get charged a little interest, and then pay for it. But that will increase your score by 35%, and it makes up 35% of your score. Reduce your utilization. So if you are not ready to pay off your credit card, I've had people come who say, my credit score is 5 something, and I just don't have enough to pay off these credit cards. And I was looking at them, and I was looking at their finances, and I just said, and I'm not some financial advisor, I was literally just trying to help a friend. I just said, hey, why don't, instead of paying these off, just pay them all down to 29%. So less than 39% utilization of the max balance for each card. Their credit score jumped up to, I think it was like 705 from 5. I know that sounds crazy, or maybe it was 695 from, I think the next month it even went higher to 705 from, I think it was like 560. So once again, monitor your credit. Check your credit report does not mean you're doing a hard pull on your credit. A lot of times when you're getting credit cards, you can do a soft pull. So it's called a pre-qualification on a credit card. So let's say I get one credit card and it's secured and I want to see if I can qualify for another one because once again, Cameron told me, or Purpose Home Lending, that I can have, if I have multiple trade lines, so multiple different lines of credit, it will increase my score. I do not say go and just apply for a card at some random place. Go online and look at pre-qualified cards. Make sure when you're clicking the link and you're going into these card programs, it says pre-qualified or get pre-approved before a hard pull. Because you can get pre-qualified for a credit card because they do a soft pull from all 3 bureaus or one bureau, and then they will tell you, yes, you qualify for this card. Now you get the card without a hard pull on your credit. What ends up happening is, and what I was told a long time ago, was keep applying for this credit card because it has great rewards. Just keep applying. If they keep denying you, oh well, just apply, a couple months later. That was the worst advice someone could have ever given me, because that hard pull constantly on my credit just kept decreasing it, because it shows that I'm like too eager to try to get these debts and I'm not ready. And they also like to know that I'm monitoring my credit enough that I know I probably can qualify for that card or not. And once again, really maximizing the excellent credit score and getting to the point where you can have excellent credit is by going through a lot of these steps. Now, some of the major benefits of having amazing credit score is you get the best pricing on any home mortgage loan, whether that's a purchase loan, a refinance, a home equity line of credit, whatever it might be. Same thing if I want to go in and start a business, any business line of credit, business credit cards, business loans, commercial property loans. I am always going to get the biggest financing. In the mortgage industry, we call it loan level pricing adjustments. That is for increased interest rate or cost for an interest rate based on someone's credit score. The lower the credit score, the bigger the risk, because the game of credit has told us that the chances of this person being responsible with debt is a lot lower. So the higher of a credit score you may have, the better chances you have to get better pricing in your mortgages and in your loans for business, whatever it might be. Same thing is true for leases for vehicles, apartments, houses you want to rent. You're going to beat out all of the competition when you have an 800 credit score versus someone with a 560. Someone with a 560 may show a lot of income, but anyone who's renting out a property is going to say, yes, but there's a reason why their score got that way, and it was irresponsible debt. Me giving you my property to rent out, my home, my house, I just don't trust that you're going to be responsible with it based on what I see in your credit score versus this other person. I cannot discriminate on anything other than credit score and income. Not source of income, but just income. So same thing, when it comes to really good credit scores, you get better credit cards with better points. I fly free to Hawaii, which is a place I love to go, free with my family all the time. Maybe not all the time. I'd like to go more often. But once or twice a year, we go and our flights are free. Why? Because I have a high balance on my credit card and I add a lot of my life's bills on there and then pay it off as soon as the money reflects on my credit card account so I don't get hit with interest. And I get a lot of airline points for doing that. That's a whole long conversation on why they offer that. But that is huge for me. And I have seen so many people not understand that and not realize the value of points. And there's even a book, I think that was a bestseller called The Points Guy or something like that. It's a great read, very eye-opening, but we're going to go into a little more information from here. Now, whether you're looking to buy a house or not, our app called KeySteps is a huge tool, and I've started to add a QR code, and I'll add them in a lot of slides moving forward. This is an easy way to put in your credit in a safe, secure platform where it does a soft pull on all three bureaus, no hard pull, but it continues to monitor and it tells you whenever your score has gone up or down by 5 points. But here's what's key for me, because I've used a lot of apps to track my credit score before, but nothing really gave me insights. Nothing really gave me a tool. I think Credit Karma might do it, but Credit Karma also solicits me all the time for different stuff. So it's kind of obnoxious. This tool is really nice because I can go and I can say, okay, if my goal is I'm at 750, I want an 800 credit score, it will give me suggestions and tips on exactly what I should be doing. Well, not exactly, but theoretically what I should be doing to play this game that is credit to improve my credit and get there. This tool also has budgeting features that we're going to dive into more as well. But really, your goal is to track your credit. Now, this tool of ours, this KeySteps, it is designed for people who want to be able to purchase a house, and it has a lot more features like that. Whether that's your goal or not, this is a great app to be able to monitor your credit, monitor your expenses. It's a really useful tool, and it's safe and secure. So that's why I'm going to promote it, and it's free for you. To dive more into our KeySteps app, yes, it has credit monitoring where you can set up alerts with real-time updates on your credit. That way, if you did something and you want to know, hey, how quickly will this take effect, it will notify you. It's usually a lot faster than what people normally think or what they're advised. Same thing, it gives insightful reports. At some point, we'll have exclusive offers in there, not to solicit people, but mostly for people who might need something that's a step up with a pre-approval. I have gone and tried to apply for certain business credit cards that told me there was a pre-approval process, and it was a little confusing on the website. Next thing you know, I'm getting a hard pull on my credit and denied the credit card when they could have easily just always offered a pre-approval process. So at some point we'll have that, but a lot of times that's based on, and what we're working to set up is that the rewards program is based on home ownership rewards. So whether you spend things at Home Depot or whatever it might be, you can get points that help you towards a down payment or closing costs or paying down your interest rate, or points that can be used as cash at home improvement stores, whatever it might be. But the cool thing about this app really is the insightful credit reporting, the budgeting tools, the suggestions it can give to help you improve your credit. And that is what I really like. The app is super user friendly. So once again, scan the QR code and download the app and play around with it. I mean, it's totally free, no harm, no foul. The other tool I really like from our KeySteps app is the ability to monitor your budget. You can link all of your bank accounts and it gives you insights on where you spend your money the most. Most people think that they know where they spend their money, but it's very eye-opening, I have found, when people say, wow, I didn't realize I spent this much at Target or Starbucks or Amazon or whatever it might be, or the sports bar or sports gambling or whatever it might be. It's going to help give you a little bit of insight. And the more that you watch that stuff, the better your spending gets. So if you're someone who doesn't even realize that you're spending all of that, the more you monitor it and the more that you see it, the less you'll end up spending of it. That's why, Dave Ramsey? Yeah, Dave Ramsey has his course where he says, take cash for the month on what you want to spend, put it in a bag for gas, for food, for eating out, for fun, whatever. But you just only spend the money out of that bag if that's what you need in order to establish discipline in your life, which is totally fine. Do what you need to do to gamify this thing called life. So I think the budgeting tool, and if you know someone who is in later high school, college age, and that just needs a little bit of help, because let's be honest, very rarely are high schools teaching this kind of stuff. I think that this app is extremely helpful for them. It's safe, secure. Banks and credit unions, or not credit unions, but the credit bureaus do not allow any company to sync with them or to pull, run, and monitor credit unless if they have a safe and secure platform. But once again, like I said, you just set this up. Let the tool help educate you and keep you up to date on how you're on your own financial situation. You just listen every once in a while to some of its suggestions, and it'll really help. In my life as a mortgage broker, I have been offered many tools that cost a lot of money to plug my clients' credit, right? Set my clients up on these platforms where it can give insights on how to repair, fix, whatever their credit. A lot of times what happens is we get someone whose credit score maybe is 610. They need to qualify for conventional, but they need to buy a house this next month because they're getting out. Their landlord is selling the house and they won't have a place to live. They don't want to find another rental because they're tired of this happening and they need to buy a place. But their credit score isn't exactly where it should be. So we spend a lot of money in order to get some insights on how they can fix it. Once they listen to the insights and the tips and they implement it, paying down their credit card to 30% utilization. Sometimes it's literally using the one credit card that they haven't touched in years, and that maybe a year, because usually years they deactivate it and it's off. They just delete it, which then hurts your credit. But they use it, and then their credit score goes up, but sometimes we have to pay for a rapid rescore. So these tips are really nice because it keeps you in track with the game that is the credit bureaus. A lot of times people say, well, I don't even understand how credit works. Well, that's because you're not monitoring it and listening to the tips that your credit monitoring service provides, or it doesn't give you any tips. Same thing with debt reduction. The nice thing about the budgeting tool is it can show you where you're spending your money, and you can say, oh, I didn't realize I was spending that much at Starbucks. How about I just reduce that? What are ways that I can reduce it? Let's think. I'll just go, if I'm spending $200 a month, why don't I go spend $30 at Walmart for a coffee maker and some coffee grounds, and I just make my own coffee? That extra money, what would that do to my debt? So I'm going to set a budgeting goal for putting that same amount of money towards my debt, and it can help you strategize and really improve your situation or put you just in a stronger situation. And like I said, at some point we'll have some exclusive benefits around home ownership, but really just think that any time you've really improved your credit score and you have maxed it out, you've done a great job, that's when you want to start looking at your life and saying, what could my amazing credit score do to help me with something I'm already doing in my life? If I'm traveling to Disneyland, if I'm traveling to this or this, is there a rewards program out there that I can put all of these bills I already pay onto it? For instance, I have a business where now I have employees in a lot of states and I need to start traveling to other states. Well, we have a lot of bills in our office. And so instead of just paying those from my checking account, I pay them on a credit card and I have alerts on my phone to notify me when that has hit my credit card. Usually it's 2 or 3 days later, if not the same day. And I just go on and I pay it off. But I now get those points. Those were bills I was going to have to pay anyway. So now I get points and I just use those points at the top airline credit cards that I can have. And I use those points to pay for my travel to go visit our staff and employees. So there's a lot of benefits out there. Obviously, in my industry, I focus on housing and helping people buy or really capitalize on home ownership, business loans, investor loans. And so at some point, we will have programs set up for this. And if you're a bank out there who's watching this for some reason, highly doubt it, please reach out. But that's really some of the key benefits that I'm not seeing a lot of our top clients utilizing. And there are people people that have podcasts and all kinds of stuff that are trying to give this free information out there to people. And for some reason, it's just getting lost. So hopefully KeySteps will help you really capitalize on the effort you've put in to gamify life. And once again, I just want to say a big thank you for listening to our hopefully not too long presentation. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out in any way, whether you're seeing this on our website, YouTube, a social media platform. Please reach out and schedule a time to talk more if you want to. If you're looking to buy, sell, refinance, whatever it might be, we'd be happy to talk with you. Even if we're not in your state, we can at least refer you to someone that we've met, know, and trust that can really be a representative for you in a state that we're not personally licensed in. So I really hope this video helped you. And if you want more information about something that you can't seem to find on our website, please feel free to reach out and suggest some things. We'd love to provide as much information to help people do better in life.